Hey everybody, Shoebox Legends here. Thank you for joining me today for the 18th card off my list of 50 for 2023. Happy to get to this one. As you can tell, it's going to be one of the more random entries, maybe the most random entry on the list of 50. Most of the cards are baseball with some hockey mixed in, but this is a non-sport card today, and it's one that represents a film or a film series, more accurately, that I love. And I don't have a huge non-sport collection, but I do enjoy picking some of them up, especially movies that are, both iconic and were important to me in my youth, or that I really enjoyed in my youth. And two of those you see in front of you here with examples from my collection. The Wizard of Oz title card from the 1940 Castell set, and the Luke Skywalker Topps Tech here, numbered diffractor from that Tech release. Just loved both of those films as a kid. And today's represents another film that I just absolutely was enamored with growing up. So here is the card. It is the 1981 Raiders of the Lost Ark title card. Pretty awesome. This was, of course, the major movie by Steven Spielberg, who had already done at this point some big ones, including Jaws. He was an absolute titan of my youth as far as film goes. Everything from the Indiana Jones trilogy to E.T. And this guy released Jurassic Park and Schindler's List in the same year. So just an incredible filmmaker, and really, really dug and still do to this day Raiders of the Lost Ark. It's my personal favorite of the three original Indiana Jones movies. I know that franchise is continuing on, and there's already been a fourth and soon to be a fifth film. But to me, this is the first film, the film that started it all, is still the best, and just love this card. And Harrison Ford, much like Steven Spielberg, just a very important celebrity from my youth, has that crossover appeal of having been in both Star Wars and then obviously the lead for Indiana Jones. So just too cool. And I do tend to go, this was a whole set that chronicled the movie. So this is card number one, the header card, and then after this, there were character cards and scene cards that kind of walk you through the film to an extent. With these type of pickups, I try to keep, my non-sport collection very limited. So I tend to only go for the title cards, like the Wizard of Oz one that you see here, or today's card, or sometimes main important characters like a Luke Skywalker. Or if I do drift into getting a scene, it would really have to be one of the more important scenes in the movie, or something that was really memorable to me for some reason. So I went with the title card here. I think the next card after this, number 2 on the checklist, is the Indiana Jones base card for his character. That's also a cool one. I wouldn't mind picking it up at some point, but what really spoke to me about this one is just the artwork. I love, it looks like a movie poster or a film poster, kind of in the same way that the Wizard of Oz one does. Just love the green here for a movie that begins, in the jungle, of course, and, using the whip to kind of form the inset for the portrait photo, the font that's used here, the contrast of the, the brown and the yellow against the green, everything, just the shot of Ford, his cap kind of extending past the border to give a 3D effect. Just really, really like the design of this card. I dig it, and have had my eye on this one for a while. I think I have a raw copy possibly in that COMC box back there to be pulled at some point in a future rummage, but I really wanted a graded copy, and I found this nice, very well-centered PSA 6. You can check the centering based on the text here at the top, so the amount of white space after the S in series should be roughly the same as the amount of white space to the left of A. So really nice copy here. It looks beautiful. Again, I'm not concerned with value or getting a high grade. These types of cards I pick up purely because they are fun. I have no future expectations of, selling this for a profit or anything like that. This is just a card that I will keep in my collection for as long as I'm collecting and just enjoy. And in the same way as, watching the films themselves kind of takes me back, just looking at that card and finding that in my box or putting it out on display like it is here, really just takes me right back to being a kid and enjoying that movie kind of for the first time. So just an awesome non-sport pickup. One last thing about this one, I do dig that on the front of this, it has both Topps and Lucasfilm referred to. You can see along the bottom, trademark Lucasfilm Limited. So that's just really, in addition to Raiders of the Lost Ark being kind of a big, important thing, and Spielberg being important to my youth, George Lucas, I mean, who had a hand in, again, both Star Wars and Indiana Jones, and of course, Topps, the trading card company that I loved as a kid and still do to this day. It's just all those elements coming together on one card was too good to resist, and those are dirt cheap. Like, even in graded form, I think that cost me around $35 or something like that. So just a fun way to enjoy the hobby and get something a little bit different into the collection to kind of mix it up a little bit and keep it fresh. So that's a wrap for today. Just the one card. Kind of went all over the map here, going from a vintage Mickey Mantle to a non-sport Raiders of the Lost Ark card. But I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll certainly be back in the very near future with some more content here. Until then, enjoy the hobby, everybody. Take care.